Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad, Instagram, Threads at Movies TV Mad X. I'm about to react for the first time to the first Creature Commandos trailer, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. But I also want to talk generally as well, away from DC. Big news if you're a Dexter TV show fan. Not only are they giving us all these spin-offs, but Michael C. Hall returns as Dexter in Dexter Resurrection. A new series coming soon. Not a limited series, but a new series that I think if it's watched will continue. That's huge because Dexter was killed in Dexter New Blood, and I think all of us hated that situation. It was pretty obvious he was never dead. Dexter is Showtime's, the network that broadcasts Dexter, Batman. He's huge. Mike's an amazing actor. I really want to discuss that as well. But let's look at this. And there's a brand new DC logo. I don't have it on me. Who cares, right? It looks good. But I'll talk about that. The logos, calling it DCU is the DCEU. We'll get into it. But let's have a look at this Creature Commandos first trailer.
General Flag, this is Belle Reed. For over 50 years, only those at the uppermost levels are aware of its existence.
I thought Congress put a stop to all Task Force X activities.
Congress said you can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
Are you smiling?
Yes.
Sarcastically?
He's missing!
This is your new task force.
It's been oh so long since G.I. Robot has sent Nazis back to hell.
Let's call it Task Force M. M for Monster. Also known as...
Wow, let's discuss that. Well, the DCEU is a go, everyone. Creature Commandos launches in December. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Before seeing this trailer, I was actually kind of intrigued, excited, thinking this could be a great launch for the DCU. Looking at that trailer, I feel empty. I felt like there was nothing there. Maybe it's the trailer. When the episodes drop on Max, maybe we'll see something incredibly entertaining. But that what I'm seeing is typical James Gunn. It's why I keep on calling him a one-trick pony. Whether it's Guardians, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and now Creature Commandos. It's the same old thing, weird, unknown characters, blah, blah, blah. You see, when James Gunn came on the scene with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, nothing was expected, and when it made a hell of a lot of money, around 800 million, everyone was excited. It was Star Wars, it was fun, funny, great kind of Star Warsy. Nobody expected anything. So everyone thought, wow, this James Gunn guy is amazing. But then, Guardians Volume 2, there was, Suicide Squad, and we started to notice that his stuff is all the same. He's a one-trick pony. I've discussed his Superman movie, where it seems to be more of a Superman will be surrounded with his people, with his, which you understand is normal, his Daily Planet people, but also his kind of meta-human people. He's not going to be spending a lot of time alone. It's not going to be focused on just Superman, right? This is what James Gunn does. He's not capable of doing anything else. And if you employ James Gunn to come in and do these things, this is what James Gunn's going to do. But my thoughts on the trailer is we get character introductions. I didn't even feel the characters leaped off the screen and did anything for me. I wasn't overly impressed with the animation. It's not bad animation by any stretch of the imagination, but the colours didn't pop. And I have to ask the question, apart from you and I and other DC fans, who's coming in to see this? Not a great many people as far as I'm concerned. And this is an important statement from me because we're launching a brand new universe. And this is what I wanted to say about the brand new DC logo. You can give it a new logo. You can paint the bedroom red instead of pink. You can call it DCU, DC Universe, instead of the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. But at the end of the day, people are going to start seeing the bright new colours fading away if they don't like what they see. Interestingly, looking at the Superman costume, as we've discussed before, not overly impressive, but maybe a costume that at the very least can grow on us. But the Superman costume isn't the most important thing. It's his moving that's important. That's what's got to work or not work at the end of the day. Superman must work. But when you're launching something called Creature Commandos, which is the first thing ever we're going to see from DC Universe, and you can say, oh, it's just a cartoon. It matters to them. Also, it being stuck over at HBO Max exclusively is a problem. And we'll see if people like me abroad will be able to see it on Now TV and things like that. We'll see. But I wasn't overly impressed. Listen, when I heard about this show, this project, I was kind of excited. I expected a hell of a lot more. And as I say, please let me know, in the opinions. It's not just about my voice. It's not just about my opinions. It's about your opinions too. But when I saw this trailer, I just thought, is that it? And it'd be interesting what you guys felt as well, because I don't want to get this crap. I don't want to get from people, oh, the Snyderverse versus James Gunn and all that crap. I'm not interested. I want genuine opinions about this work. That's what I want. I don't want you biased. When you come in on this channel, get your biased, throw it out the window and give proper opinions. Forget about anything else that's happened. But that's what I'm saying with the new logo. It's all great having a new logo. It's all great being DCU instead of DCEU until people realise the paint has only one coat instead of 2 and 3. And what I've seen from Creature Commandos, this trailer, isn't very much. And it's basically what James Gunn does. He's offering nothing different here because he doesn't have the variety in his ability, in his storytelling skills. This is who James Gunn is. He wrote a Scooby-Doo movie, right? He was involved with the Zack Snyder zombie movie, which was rather different. Probably the most different thing he's ever written or been involved with, right? But mostly, Gunn's work is this. This is what Gunn does. And I've warned people about this before. Gunn hasn't got the ability to give you anything different that he's done before. This show will probably be funny and okay, but I don't see everyone who watches Marvel movies or who came in to watch, for example, Wonder Woman, which made over $800 million, right? Or Aquaman, who made over $1 billion, or Joker, that made $1 billion, right? Or The Dark Knight, etc., right? Coming in. Or Spider-Man No Way Home. These audiences are not going to come and watch Creature Commandos. As soon as people see that trailer, they're thinking what I think and what most of you think. It's just the same old shit. He's not offering. Weasel. I never liked Weasel in the Suicide Squad. There's something that annoys me or freaks me out about the character when I look at him. But I'm a DC fan. I'm going to give this a fair go. But this is the problem. Are people in their droves going to come and watch this? No, they're not. Now, they'll probably be showing off about the ratings and they'll say them because you can't even trust what they say anymore. But the truth of the matter is, this isn't going to garner a general audience. I think Peacemaker certainly did. And Peacemaker was probably Gunn's finest piece of work as far as I'm concerned, because it was funny, but it was very, very dark and very, very brutal psychologically and emotionally and within the narrative. So I really liked Peacemaker 1. I don't think Peacemaker 2 can deliver on what Peacemaker 1 did. I don't know why there's even a Peacemaker 2. Someone will have to ask James about that. But I am disappointed in this trailer. I did expect a lot more. It did seem empty. It did seem hollow. And yeah, I expected a lot more from Creature Commandos. We may get something more when the episodes drop, because at the end of the day, it is only a trailer. But I can only react to the logo. I can only react to the trailer that I've seen. I can only react to the Superman costume that I've seen and give a constructive opinion. Now, we don't normally talk about Dexter on this channel, but we are right now. So if you're not interested in the Dexter TV show, I understand why you wouldn't be interested in staying along. But anyway, Dexter is an amazing show. It's about a man who grows up with the bloodlust and the killing tendencies of a serial killer. He's found in the pool of his dead mother's blood, who was a hooker when he was a baby, found by a policeman. This policeman, Harry, decides to bring him up. When Harry discovers that Dexter has these bloodlusts and these serial killer tendencies, he decides to create a code for young Dexter, making sure he only kills other serial killers and people who deserve to die. He collects slides of their blood. He's very ruthless. He doesn't get caught, but things are starting to develop. So if I were you, if you're interested in that premise, go and watch it on Netflix or wherever it is. Michael C. Hall, who plays Dexter, is an amazing actor. Watching him as an actor myself is a great honour and an education. So anyway, Dexter ran for 8 seasons. Then they came back a couple of years ago with Dexter New Blood, which was Dexter's story. He was on the run, hiding somewhere else. He had a girlfriend, and he was seeing his sister's Deb's ghost, but he was also reunited with his son, Harrison. So he's going to get his own spin-off now, Harrison. But Dexter was supposed to have died in Dexter New Blood. They had 1 season. But they announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and I think this news stole this year's San Diego Comic-Con. I don't think anything thus far that's come out. And where are we at today? We're Saturday. So today should be the main day for like breaking news and stuff. But I don't think anything as big is going to be announced. I will get into Doctor Who and the Sea Devils news briefly, but this is more interesting to me. So yeah, they've created a new spin-off called Dexter Resurrection. They haven't said anything else but that. So I don't know what it's going to be. So I don't want it to be an animated series where he's just narrating it. I won't watch that shit. But it's also come out that the new show, Dexter Original Sin, which is a younger version of Dexter, he will be narrating that show as well. So Michael is going to be very, very busy, and that's exciting. Yes, they're milking the Dexter franchise to death. But the difference with the people working on this show and Michael himself, they won't do anything to hurt this show and this character, and they'll milk it with class. That's the difference between Disney Marvel and Disney Doctor Who and you know, Disney Star Wars. These are real people, real creatives that gave us something special from the very, very beginning. So it's very, very exciting if you ask me. Michael C. Hall will be back as Dexter in Dexter Resurrection. So that's mad. I am excited. I know it's milking the franchise, as I've already said, but I love Dexter, I love Mike, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Lots of shows coming out. If I can, and Christian Slater is going to play Harry, who's the guy who I just explained raises Dexter. So that's exciting. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think, is playing a police officer or police captain or something. Very, very exciting. I think she narrated the trailer at SDCC and San Diego Comic-Con, which is also very, very awesome. So the Dexter franchise is looking very, very exciting indeed. And I say, bring it on. For the longest of time, there's been a rumour about the Sea Devils Doctor Who spin-off. Now, if you're going to ask me who the Sea Devils are, I don't know much about the Sea Devils. I watched the Chibnall episode. They don't really excite me. They're not Doctor Who monsters. I think, oh, the Sea Devils. But that's what they're doing. but very, very interesting. They're bringing some original characters or actors that have been on the show before. So we have Russell Tovey, who played Midshipman Frank. We're also getting the actress who played Martha Jones's sister. Now, is she playing Martha Jones's sister? I have no fucking idea. I hope that Russell and the actress who played her sister are playing these characters again. That would be really, really awesome. But they're bringing back, obviously, the leader of UNIT as well. So UNIT's going to be involved in this. Hopefully, it will be really, really good. Because RTD and Mills and Shooty were all at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. They were there yesterday. So lots of stuff about Doctor Who. And they announced the Sea Devil spin-off because Russell did promise a big kind of universe like he had with Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures. We will see if any of this works. But they are in a lot of trouble because Doctor Who Season 1 didn't work because it wasn't supposed to work. As I've said before, left-wing entertainment versus right-wing audiences, more of the culture war bullshit. I'm not interested, you're not interested, and now they've announced this spin-off. Is anyone going to be interested in that? I do not know. But yeah, I mean, and I'd really like to know actually how are you enjoying Deadpool and Wolverine? I've actually got a little prediction on the box office for that. Doing well at the moment. Notice the critic Rotten Tomato score is 79%. Now to me, that's slightly low. It's not disastrous, but it's slightly low. Now the audience score is about 97%. Now I've seen this film, and I don't think that Deadpool and Wolverine is a 97% Rotten Tomato audience movie, and I think fans are going overboard. But also what the 79% critic score points to, that Rotten Tomato score is going to fall very, very quickly. Also what I think is going to fall is, I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to have a huge drop-off in the second weekend. I don't know what's coming out in the second weekend of Deadpool and Wolverine. I would imagine not very much. But yeah, look out for that. I thought this was a safe movie. This is the problem with the way Reynolds does Deadpool. When you first see the first film, and it's violent, and it's funny, and they're making fun of other movies, blah, 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 it's funny. But then when you have to put up with the same thing in the second movie, and then Deadpool and Wolverine, it kind of gets boring very quickly. Yes, we were all interested in Hugh Jackman coming back as Logan, but even that gets dry very, very quickly. So it's not a terrible movie. It has some good surprises, which I won't tell you about. But basically, I didn't feel they reinvented the wheel, which you don't reinvent the wheel with this type of film. Sequels are for business. It's going to make a profit, right? Even if it has a huge drop-off like I'm predicting. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is a Spider-Man No Way Home situation. Spider-Man No Way Home is actually a very good film. Let's not get that twisted. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Deadpool because ultimately the story doesn't go anywhere. Like in all three movies, it's just supposed to be funny and, some one-liners, and Reynolds does it well. But ultimately, it isn't a real thing. Yes, it's telling a story, but ultimately, Deadpool and Wolverine was just there to tug at people's nostalgia, which it does very, very well. But not all the gags drop, hit well, if you ask me. And so, yeah, going back to Doctor Who, it will be interesting what they do with Russell Tovey. And is it Magooby McGraw? I can't remember her name now, but she played Martha Jones's sister. It would be crazy if Russell and her were playing different people, wouldn't it? So we'll have to find out what happens there. But, the fans are upset with Doctor Who. People have walked away. And this is the problem. So is there going to... It's interesting. Is there an interest in a Sea Devil spin-off? When I think of a Sea Devil spin-off, I think, who's interested in this? There'll be some die-hard classic fans that'll be going, yeah, but once you've seen the Sea Devils, you know, is there going to be a real threat here? You know, does the Doctor play a role in this show? Or is it going to be like in Sarah Jane, we saw Matt Smith, we saw David Tennant, but I don't know about this spin-off and what they're planning. I mean, it's hard enough for them to make a series of Doctor Who without having a Doctor-like episode, let alone Ncuti turning up in this spin-off. So I think they're going to have to rely on the cast they've brought in, which is very, very difficult. But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I am interested. I am asking you in the comments down below, are you excited for a Sea Devil spin-off? Or would you have rather something else as a spin-off? If you could have had any spin-off, Doctor Who spin-off, brand new, or even the Return of Torchwood, whatever, what would you have brought in? Personally, as I said earlier, the Sea Devils, Devils, whatever, right, doesn't do much for me. It's not the Doctor Who kind of monster alien villain that I know that well. We saw it, you know, we've seen it in modern times, obviously, as I say, in the Chibnall episode. And that was all right, but not great. So I just wonder if the audience have an appetite for a Sea Devil spin-off. And it's a bit like Creature Commandos. I don't think so. I think there's other things they could have done. I think if you go back to DCU, with what they're doing with it, with having, obviously, they all have spin-offs for streaming. And I get that, it's part of the business. But I think the spin-offs on streaming, the problem is, the audience know that these things are just made for streaming. Because they're streaming and you have to fill the void. People don't think, oh, there was a huge need for Creature Commandos. It's there to have DCU content on HBO Max. Or Max, or whatever they're calling it today. Do you understand? So people know when they made Creature Commandos, they went through the motions. That's what I think. That's my opinion. And even when you look at this trailer, you think, nah, there's no heart. There's no heart in that trailer. I didn't feel anything from it. I didn't feel the excitement I thought I was going to feel from Creature Commandos. And again, I'll have to wait for the episodes to drop. But to me, it just didn't feel, it felt empty. It felt typical James Gunn. It felt like he's not going outside his comfort zone for DC Universe. People can say, well, this is his strengths. But just imagine if this is DCU. One project about a group of people, two projects about a group of people, three projects, you know, and it's just the same thing all the time. Now, obviously, I think the stuff that's more exciting is the stuff that James Gunn isn't making. Like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Like The Authority. Gunn will make The Authority, but The Authority should be a darker story. So that will be interesting as well. But, yeah, I think the stuff Gunn's not making, you know, I think that's the stuff I'm more interested in. Like Paradise Lost. But even the stuff he's not making, he's keeping a watchful eye, and creatively, he will be involved as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow was a better film than Superman. They kind of forced him to write and direct Superman. He was already writing a Superman movie before he took over DC Universe, but then basically he was forced, right, by the people at Warner Brothers to direct it. That's what happened. Gunn even admitted he wasn't necessarily up to the task of directing Superman. So Gunn was kind of pushed into it by Peter Safran, his partner at DC Studios. So, and again, he admitted that. So it'll be interesting where we get from that. Also, there's the other kind of risky situation where he's been producing Deadpool, sorry. There you go. They kind of both got the same colour suit. He's been producing and keeping a watchful eye over Peacemaker 2 as well, which is a bit odd. So he's been, you know, when you see him going, oh, day off from shooting, he's down at Peacemaker I just don't think you should be making a huge Superman movie and then running off to do a series. You're asking for trouble, as far as I'm concerned. As someone who's been on productions, who's stood on the sets, who sees what has to happen for these things to work, it's such a huge commitment. And for someone to be running here, there, and everywhere, it seems a bit of a problem to me. But again, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm open to DC Universe being great, but I'm not convinced it's going to be great yet. What will convince me? Someone on Twitter said, oh, DC fans and Marvel fans are eating good. It's what they all say. Are you excited for the future? I replied, I'll tell you when I get to the future. I can't be excited about something I haven't consumed yet. And this director, as good as he is, Gunn, his stuff is very, very samey. The man can direct, right? The man can call action. I get it. But his stuff is very, very similar. And there can't be anyone, even the biggest of James Gunn fans, watching this video saying, oh, Mick, you're wrong. It's true. If you look at his stuff, you look at his humour, not only is his humour very similar all the time, but kind of what's concerning with his humour, it doesn't always drop. It's like having a guy, when you're down the pub, telling bad jokes and we're all going, or even worse, nobody fucking laughs. That's the problem with Gunn's humour. I don't find James Gunn particularly that funny, and I never have. I think the first Guardians was kind of funny. The second one in places was okay, but yeah, I'm just very, very concerned that Creature Commandos I don't know. I just felt something was missing from it. Maybe they're hiding things. Maybe it's a lot better, but yes, I get it. It's a cartoon. It's not supposed to be a big deal. But when you're releasing something in December, which is about 5-6 months before they release Superman, and it's the first kind of piece of content from DC Universe, people are going to want to see something incredible. And what I saw in this trailer wasn't incredible. To be fair, it was just a small introductory trailer. And there were some things I kind of liked, but I just felt it was empty. It didn't feel, there was something missing for me with Creature Commandos. But yeah, I'd love to know what you thought of Creature Commandos. As I say, I will be doing videos more regularly from now on. Obviously, it's San Diego Comic-Con, so I'm looking for news from the entertainment industry at San Diego Comic-Con that kind of piques my fancy. So I'm not going to come here giving you a full description of everything that happens about everything. That's not the kind of content creator I am. I have to be interested. It has to be about DC. Like Dexter. I don't normally talk about Dexter. It's one of my favourite shows. I'm shocked and excited that Dexter is coming back. Dexter Resurrection means he was always alive. That's interesting. We'll see what happens and what kind of show it's going to be. So I wanted to talk about that. And we'll see what other kind of morsels San Diego Comic-Con kicks up this weekend. I mean, apparently they may reveal some little tidbits from DCU. But again, I warn you, don't expect much from San Diego Comic-Con in terms of DC Universe. We've seen the logo. Of course, James Gunn reacted to the logo, how he and Peter always wanted this logo, trying to make it interesting, trying to make you think that something new is happening. But I've told you before, filters and outside shells don't create the bedroom that you want. Don't create the building that you want. If your girlfriend is wearing a fur coat with no knickers, it doesn't really mean she's anything special. And at the moment, for me, DC Universe is the girlfriend with a fur coat and no knickers. With the DCEU, it was interesting. A lot of people didn't like it. Yeah, this issue, that issue, they kept on, interfering with people's work, Snyder's work. But the films were very, a lot of those films from Snyder were very good films, artistic films. And they're never going to be forgotten. And I'm just concerned that after Man of Steel, after BVS, after the Snyder Cut, even if you don't like them, even films like Aquaman, that's a very good film. If you make films that are just light-hearted and funny and just slightly serious, I'm just concerned that people won't take any notice of this new universe. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Keep it here. Keep it here as we find out what DC Universe is actually going to be. As we discuss it, is it going to work, or is this really the last flogging of the DC dead horse?